It's 1975, and Carol Whitfield is standing in her kitchen in Dayton, Ohio, doing math on the back of an envelope. Husband Frank brings home $14,000 a year working the line at a manufacturing plant. By the end of this month, Carol will put $340 into a savings account. Priya and Marcus, a married couple outside Charlotte, North Carolina. Combined, they bring home $175,000 a year. At the end of this month, they will have exactly $0 left. My name is Horizon, and today we're talking about the two-income trap. I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. Adding a second income to a household should mathematically make that household safer, became the new price of entry. Killer number 1. The bidding war you didn't know you entered. The price of a house isn't set by what it costs to build. Your neighbor's family can now bring 2 paychecks to the table. So do you. It bought the family the same house at a much higher price. Went straight into the seller's pocket. Every other two-income family had to do the same just to keep their kids in a school with comparable outcomes. A house isn't just a house in this equation, it's a lottery ticket for your kid's future. Killer number 2. The invisible worker you now have to pay to replace. Priya and Marcus don't have that. Both of them work. Infant daycare runs somewhere in the range of $1,500 to $2,000 a month per child. That's a second mortgage payment, except this one doesn't build equity in anything. A startling number of second incomes net out to only a few $100s a month of actual marginal benefit. Killer number 3. The fixed costs that assume both paychecks show up forever. If Marcus loses his job, the household drops to a household that can no longer make its mortgage payment. Doubling your household's income streams can shrink it. Killer number 4. The bankruptcy data that quietly proves all of this. Married couples with children file for bankruptcy at meaningfully higher rates than single individuals with no children. Loss for one earner, divorce, medical bills. Now let me hand the other side the floor. Carol's world had massive trade-offs baked into it. A household's complete financial dependence on someone else. Dual-income household gets all the upside of 2 incomes and none of the trap. Priya and Marcus can personally decide to buy a smaller house, but the school district they'd have to move into has already been repriced. Question 1. How much of your household's fixed cost structure is actually sized around one income disappearing? Question 2. How much of your household's second income is actually reaching your savings account? Question 3. Are you certain that price reflects what a family can typically afford? Priya did the math, eventually, on a Tuesday night after Marcus went to bed. Paycheck was contributing about $400 a month to the household. They wrote down an actual number for what happens if either paycheck disappears for 3 months. That's the actual two-income trap. Write down the percentage of your fixed costs that your largest single paycheck alone could actually carry. Housing prices in a given school district reflected what a typical single earner could afford. The price of a house isn't set by what it costs to build. It's set by the maximum a buyer is willing and able to pay. That ceiling rose the moment 2 incomes became the standard household unit. The second income didn't buy the family more house. It bought the family the same house at a much higher price. Families with 2 incomes could suddenly afford to move toward the specific zip codes with the specific school district. Marginal dual-income family can just barely afford them, and then the next family has to match it. Someone was there. Nobody was paying for that. Whatever you think about the fairness of it, run the actual balance sheet. The household now has to purchase, on the open market, every single hour of labor that used to be free. It turns out raising small humans was never actually free. It was just unpaid. Multiply that by 2 kids, a second mortgage payment. Priya isn't lazy and she isn't overpaid. She is running an enormous amount of labor through a very narrow pipe. She works 40+ hours a week for take-home pay that would make Carol raise an eyebrow. Once a household's mortgage is underwritten based on 2 incomes, that household has quietly done something Frank and Carol never had to do. That $340 a month wasn't discretionary fluff. It was breathing room baked into a single-earner budget by design. The whole structure was built the moment they both got hired, on the assumption that both jobs were permanent. The household loses the ability to cover roughly 40% of the fixed monthly obligations, finding that surprised the people running the numbers. That finding runs directly against the intuitive story we all carry around. Household formation in 1975 assumed women simply weren't going to be given the option to build an independent income. Household with two incomes and two independent financial identities is safer along an entire dimension. Modern medicine, modern safety standards, technology that didn't exist. The trap isn't dual incomes, it's the bidding war and the fixed cost sizing. Dual income household that keeps a starter house, one car, and a real emergency fund. You can opt out of the trap individually. You cannot opt the market out of it. The market is what sets the price of the house you actually have to live in. A genuinely alarming number of dual income households. That number is uncomfortably low. It's worth knowing exactly what fraction before treating that income as the cushion it was supposed to be. That number, once set, doesn't come back down just because it was never sustainable in the first place. They refinanced one thing, canceled a subscription tier. The first time since they'd bought the house, they wrote down an actual number. Never had to do that exercise. The entire financial system around him in 1975 had already done it for him. The number of paychecks it takes to stay standing quietly doubled. The amount of margin left over once you're standing quietly went to zero. The second paycheck was never really theirs to save. It was already spoken for the moment they got the offer letter. You are allowed to look at all of this and simply write down your own number.